I believe the Prime Minister has given his approval to say good day to all. So good day to all. Tourism, of course, has been identified as the engine of growth for the island and has been an effective means of economic diversification from the traditional reliance on agriculture. And in 2016, tourism arrivals were estimated at 366,000, contributing $383 million towards the economy. For 2017, tourism arrivals were projected to increase by 5%, that's just prior to Hurricane Maria. However, of course, we know that Hurricane Maria happened, and in terms of the impact of Hurricane Maria, the World Bank Post-Disaster Needs Assessment estimated damages amounting to $54 million and losses of $191 million, the hardest hit area being our hotel room stock. Damage to sites and attractions was also a key area of concern for us, and this included debris along all of our trails to our major sites, damage to most of our reception facilities, damage to access roads to sites, loss of water and electricity. And this damage was estimated at over $4 million. I'm pretty sure the Agriculture and Forestry Ministry will tell you about the loss of our natural forest cover, and Mr. Badwell has adequately outlined to you the damage to our ports, to include the Roseau cruise ship berth and the ferry terminal. And we've seen a decline in all categories of visitors. Post-Hurricane Maria, the Ministry of Tourism set forward a post-Maria recovery program, which included components as follows. A rapid assessment of our tourism sites, accommodation and infrastructure, and this was followed by a more detailed assessment with engineers, which enabled us to estimate the cost of the actions to be taken. From there, this assessment formed the basis for development of a comprehensive site rehabilitation plan, and realizing the need to work closely with our stakeholders. Right after Hurricane Maria, the Ministry of Tourism and Discover Dominica Authority engaged a series of stakeholder engagement sessions, consultation with all of the major tourism groups and agencies, and from this, we developed formed a post-Maria task force chaired by Mr. Gregor Nassif, and this task force had the responsibility of providing advice and support to the Ministry of Tourism in our rehabilitation program. The task force, in collaboration of the ministry, prepared a 60-day cruise recovery plan and also worked along with the ministry to prepare and implement our rehabilitation projects and this cruise recovery plan. The Discover Dominica Authority has also revised its marketing and communication strategy in light of the post-Maria landscape, and the government of Dominica set out to review with the Ministry of Finance the concessionary financing available for tourism service providers. I'm very pleased about the progress that we've been able to make post-Hurricane Maria. As relates to site rehabilitation, we have completed rehabilitation at 90% of our major tourism sites in collaboration with the Forestry and Parks Division, the National Employment Program, and the UNDP, which has been very critical in assisting us with the rehabilitation and clearance. Our reception facilities at our marquee sites has been completed. We've seen a rebuild of the viewing platform at Trafalgar. We've upgraded the interpretation building, the vendors booth. The Indian River, Emerald Pool, Freshwater Lake, Tito Gorge, and some of our other sites have been completely rehabilitated. We've also done some work to restore our beaches. We've started with the two major beaches which are high traffic for our cruise visitors, Mero and Purple Turtle Beach. And this also includes the restoration of the facilities at those sites. We are also rehabilitating or have rehabilitated the Tourism Information Center, the museum, and the Daubeny building at the Old Market, which welcomes our cruise visitors. And in collaboration with the Ministry of Public Works, we are rehabilitating the Roseau Bayfront and the cruise ship berth to ensure that our cruise visitors feel welcome and safe in Dominica. Of course, the cleanup of Roseau, of the city of Roseau, has been crucial to our ability to welcome visitors to the city. And work is ongoing on all of our other sites to include the Kalinago, Barona, Ote, Spani Falls, Scott's Head, and some of our other sites. So we are very pleased to say that with the exception of Champagne, Soufriere, Sulphur Springs, and the Boiling Lake to some extent, all of our tourism sites are open for business. We've seen some progress as it relates to cruise, and Mr. Badwell informed you that we saw our first cruise call to the Roseau cruise ship berth on January 28th. But what you may not know is that this was the result of a number of meetings held with major cruise lines in Miami, led by our Minister of Tourism, Minister Robert Tong, and a delegation from the Discover Dominica Authority, and that we have been hosting cruise line officials over a period of the last few weeks to determine whether or not they should return to Dominica. And of course, the feedback has been very positive. They are very amazed about the level of progress that we have made to date and have committed to return to Dominica in the next season. We are also very pleased to say that our yachting season has opened and that we do expect to see an above average season. We are this week hosting Yachty Appreciation Week, and just last night we, along with the Ministry of Tourism, Discover Dominica Authority, and PAYS, I'm not sure if everybody knows about PAYS, but that'll be the Portsmouth Association of Yacht Security, hosted over 200 guests to the Sunday barbecue at the Purple Turtle Beach. And this week we expect to see over 200 yachts participating in Yachty Appreciation Week. Of course, we know that the jetties in the south have been damaged, and the ministry is in discussions with the Dominica Water Sports Association and the major partners and stakeholders to look at the rebuilding of jetties in the south. Voluntourism packages have been launched, and this is something that we initially wanted to look at, or we started looking at as a niche product. But based on what has happened post-Hurricane Maria, the Ministry of Tourism has taken the decision to promote voluntourism as a new niche product for Dominica. We have launched packages. There's a Mero community cleanup package that has been launched. Cabrit's Dive has also partnered with Keeping It Real for a Tukari Bay cleanup. We've also had some of our private stakeholders. Once we had the lead on this, we have Fort Young Hotel, Tambourine Tree, and other hotel partners have launched their own voluntourism packages to include cleanup of the Whitey Kubuli National Trail. You may be surprised to know that the feedback from these voluntourism packages has been very encouraging, and we have had a number of volunteer tourists who are visiting Dominica to visit our sites, but also to help with the rebuilding of Dominica. We are pleased to partner with the Forestry and Parks Division, Ministry of Agriculture, on a pilot tree planting initiative for the botanical gardens. This was actually started on our last cruise ship call, which would have been Sunday before, and this is being promoted to the cruise lines. I think we do have at least a photo there of our cruise visitors who have been engaged in planting trees at the botanical gardens. This is something that we plan to expand to our other tourism sites. So we are very pleased about the progress that we are making in that area. Of course, I must say that the feedback from the meetings that we held with the cruise lines, most of them counted Dominica out for the 2017-2018 season and the 2018-2019 season because of the devastation that they witnessed over the international media. But because of our aggressive communication strategy, we are seeing renewed interest in Dominica. The accommodation sector was the hardest hit, so we expect recovery within the medium to long term. Government has revised the terms for the special tourism facility at the Aid Bank. Of course, the interest rate has been reduced to 2%, from 3% to 2%. Repayment terms increased from 10 years to 15 years. And the purpose of the facility has been expanded to include tourism service providers, renewable energy initiatives, and also provision of working capital. Fiscal incentives are also available through the Invest Dominica Authority. And we are seeing the rebuilding and reopening of some of our major hotels. We've seen the official reopening of Fort Young Hotel, Pegua Bay, Tambourine Tree, and of course the announcement of Secret Bay's reconstruction. The Kempinski and Jungle Bay projects are well on their way. As a matter of fact, today we are hosting a mobilization and orientation team from Kempinski Hotels. They will be here for this week for cultural immersion and meetings with the Ministry of Tourism and other stakeholders to understand the product as they develop their marketing strategy towards a 14-month opening for the Kempinski Hotel. Of course, there are other new projects which are about to begin construction, including the Anichi Resort, and we are very pleased about the progress that we are seeing in this area. As it relates to marketing, post-Hurricane Maria, we have had to engage in an aggressive marketing campaign to relaunch Dominica. Our new theme is Rediscover Dominica, Travel with a Deeper Meaning, and we have launched a new website, www.dominicaupdate.com, which we have been using to update our tourism stakeholders, both locally and internationally, on the recovery of the tourism sector and the recovery of Dominica post-Hurricane Maria. We have also launched a series of videos displaying the progress that we've made, and in the words of Dr. Lennox Honeychurch, who has narrated one of these videos for us, we are promoting the beauty of an island reborn. We have also engaged Dr. Honeychurch to assist with training of our tour guides, taxi drivers, and frontline hospitality staff in our post-Maria tourism product. Of course, Dominica looks just a bit different than it did pre-Maria, but still beautiful nonetheless, and we want to ensure that our service providers are aware of what to say to our guests when they arrive on island. Of course, the Ministry of Tourism is solidly behind the vision for a climate-resilient Dominica, and our existing policy framework comes from the Tourism Master Plan and the National Tourism Policy. These documents make reference to environment and policy planning in the development of the tourism sector, and for years we've been talking about maintaining and enhancing Dominica's pristine environment and also developing policies and programs that are conforming to Green Globe and other certification programs. But now we have this new policy framework which is even more dynamic. We do have the UN Sustainable Goal 8.9, which makes reference to policies that promote sustainable tourism and creates jobs and promote local culture and product. And sustainable tourism is a new buzzword in tourism and is defined as tourism that takes full account of its current and future economic, social, and environmental impact, addressing the needs of visitors, the industry, the environment, and host communities. In light of the climate resiliency plan for Dominica, we believe that sustainable tourism will be the catalyst for a climate resilient tourism sector. And in that regard, we have outlined a few initiatives that we are already starting to work on, a review of our tourism policy and master plan to support the climate resiliency vision, development of new codes and standards for building our tourism facilities and other infrastructure, development of a coastal and marine tourism policy to include guidelines for beach development, jetty construction, and dive operations, integration of water conservation, storage, and renewable energy at all of our sites. We've already started with syndicates and a few other sites with solar energy, partnering with the Ministry of Agriculture to protect our marine and forest reserves and tackle issues such as beachfront erosion and protection of our soil cover. Very importantly, we need to work with the Solid Waste Department and DOASCO to manage solid and liquid waste, minimize runoffs, and promote our recycling initiatives. There are other initiatives that we will launch as it relates to our product development, our marketing, our infrastructure. The ports have already outlined these, and as it relates to financing, we've already spoken about the integration of climate resiliency criteria in financing and lending facilities. And for institutional strengthening, we will ensure that we can build capacity both within the public and private sector for resiliency in terms of our tourism staff and industry stakeholders. So we are resolute in our quest to develop a sustainable tourism industry, as part of Dominica's vision to become the world's first climate resilient country. And if resilience is rebounding, we are well on our way to rebounding in the tourism sector. Thank you.